Wow. Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Anna. Thank you, all of you, for being here. What a fabulous thing to look out at. I have a memory of the WTO in Seattle just a little over 10 years ago and seeing a crowd like this and saying, now they should be scared. I mean, we really do have power on our side because we are right, we are here, we are many, and we seek a very just world, and we know what we're doing here. So welcome, welcome to the People's Summit. And to the words and the dreams of some real leaders, the people you're going to hear from tonight. What are we doing here? Well, we're here because the G8 and the G20 is a gathering of global royalty to promote a status quo that serves their interest and their class, not the needs of their citizens. We're here because the G8 and the G20 will stand in front of their fake lake for photo ops to make it look as if they have come together to tackle the real issues of our day, when in fact they are coming together to consolidate their agenda of deregulation, unlimited growth, relentless resource exploitation, and the entrenchment of power for themselves and their big business friends. We're here because the G8 and the G20 show will, in the very end, likely cost something more like $2 billion than the $1.2 billion that we're hearing. And it's important for us to remember that the entire budget of the United Nations for just 1 year is $1.9 billion. The money they're spending for the next week could go to huge poverty alleviation, to climate mitigation and justice, to social programs so desperately needed around the world and in Canada, and to the resource protection of the resources that are under assault by their system. We're here because most of this money is going to intimidate and dispel legal democratic dissent and to terrify the local population who's into mute compliance with the shutdown of their city and their community. We're here because the G8 and the G20 refuses to take serious action on climate and the water crisis as well, that threatens the earth itself and the future of all living things upon it. And it is very important for us in Canada to remember that our government is the only government in the world that ratified Kyoto and then officially abandoned it and went into Copenhagen actually announcing there was going to be a failure, because we are planning a 5-fold increase in the tar sands, which will then become the greatest site of greenhouse gas emissions in the world. I call it Canada's Mordor. They have no intention of changing their position this week or any other. We're here because the G8 and the G20 refuse to rein in the power of big capital and runaway financial speculation. They had a chance to talk about what we call a Robin Hood tax, so that money that could be collected from this speculation could be used to alleviate the suffering that this financial crisis has created. Instead, they have chosen not only not to rein in savage capitalism, but to continue the systems that allow it to continue to work. In Copenhagen, my favorite button was, if the atmosphere were a bank, it would have been bailed out by now. And we're here because the G8 and the G20 should actually be something else. It should be the G92, and it should be meeting at the General Assembly of the United Nations. Where all nations, rich and poor, can get together to deal with the issues that are affecting and afflicting all of humanity. We are a people's movement in progress, and I think what I'm seeing when I watch what's happening here in the coming week, I see a split, a class split, a racial split, to some great extent a gender split, that's as great as any in history in terms of the difference between those who have power and those who don't. And we are here to say this simply cannot go on. But I want to tell you that I have great hope that we are working in many, many ways for a very different world. We have stalled the World Trade Organization. We killed the Multilateral Agreement on Investment and the Security and Prosperity Partnership, so-called, for North America. We killed the extension of NAFTA, the free trade area of the Americas. Now they're coming back at us with this comprehensive European Union economic and trade agreement, which is now to go after subnational governments. And believe me, this is the mother of them all, and we need to fight it, but we will, and we will win. We're here because when they build that fake lake, they take attention away from the reality that they have. The Harper government has brought in an amendment to the Fisheries Act that allows a perfectly healthy fish-bearing lake to be reclassified as a tailing impoundment area for mining companies who apply and turn into a toxic dump site. This is the image that we have to tell the world, not this fake lake with its Muskoka chairs and the phony loons in the background, but the reality of the fact that we've been given this great precious gift of life, and we are not caring for it. We are moving forward, and we will defeat Schedule 2, and we will protect our water and our resources as well. But I have to tell you, two very exciting and moving things, and we all only have a couple of minutes up here, so I want to share two hopeful stories. One is that I was at the United Nations yesterday as the guest of the G77, the countries that are not here and who are very angry about their exclusion from these negotiations. And at the General Assembly yesterday at 1 o'clock, the Bolivian Ambassador Pablo Salon introduced a resolution for the right to water to the full General Assembly for the first time in history. There are so many committees studying this. There are so many ways in which we could have put it off forever. And President Evo Morales, who was a cocoa farmer from Bolivia and who became president for the first time, an indigenous president of a largely indigenous country, one of the poorest countries in Latin America, and who's fought and kicked out the water companies and who is facing challenges at the World Bank for taking back his resources and his energy and the life for his people. He stood up and said, I'm not waiting, and I don't care about all those committees, and I don't care about the process. I just know that we're ground zero in the climate war, that our glaciers are melting and our snowpacks are gone and our people can't plant anymore and they can't harvest anymore because you can't depend on the waters from the snowmelt. And we did not cause this, and we are going to demand that we be heard, and we're going to take our message. We may be the poorest people on earth. We're going to take our message to the very heart of the United Nations. And they put it on the table, and you know what? The governments can't obfuscate anymore. They can't say, well, we were just trying to change a word here and there, or the process isn't good. What they have to do is say yes or no. Right now, Canada's saying no. And I'm here to tell you that we need to embarrass our government, that going into the G20, it would have the nerve to say to the people of the world, with a country as wealthy as ours and a country with water wealth, that we don't care that every 8 seconds somewhere in this world a child dies of waterborne disease because they damn well can't pay for it, and we don't care. Not good enough. In April, I was honored to be part of a wonderful international climate justice summit in Cochabamba, Bolivia, again called by President Evo Morales, because we were all so unhappy with what happened in Copenhagen with the theft of a process that did include all countries and all peoples, and a watering down of the statement that they were working towards, and the goals removed so that we're no longer talking about anything serious around climate. And they called for this meeting, and they expected 7,000 or 8,000 people, and 35,000 people came. And out of that came many wonderful things, but the most wonderful for me was something called the Universal Declaration of the Rights of Mother Earth. And for the first time, the peoples of the world are taking this concept and bringing it to the United Nations, to their capitals, to their constitutions, and more importantly, to themselves. And we're saying there's no such thing as a human right if we don't protect the rights of the earth, and if we don't understand that everything we have comes from Mother Earth, or Pachamama, as the Latin Americans say. We went to the UN a month ago. We met with Ban Ki-moon. We met with the G77. There is no question that this is a concept whose time has come. And there is no question that it is going to take its place eventually with the 1948 Declaration of Human Rights as a proof that as a human species we can evolve, that we can take giant steps forward. We have in the past, we will again. We are not going to wait for these leaders. The G8, the G20 should be abolished. It should be substituted with a real democratic process involving all people and all countries of the world. We have urgent issues in front of us. We have an earth that is hurting. We have discrimination and poverty of an unparalleled degree in our world, and we have to take it back. We have to take the power back. We're starting here tonight. It's going to last all week and into the future. We can do this. It will take the rest of our lives even to begin. But then, what else have we got to do? Thank you so much.